I chained her to keep her forever, then realized I was the one being trapped. After 3 years of secretly longing for Willow, I finally gave in to my obsession and abducted her to my home. I fastened a silver chain around her ankle and told her never to think about leaving me for the rest of her life. The first month was hell. She preferred death over yielding, demanding that I release her. By the second month, she began to compromise, tacitly allowing me to share the bed with her. By the third month, she pushed back, questioning me for being 5 minutes late. "Were you out fooling around with other women?" Seeing her play with the silver chain, a faint redness in the corners of her eyes, I couldn't help but break down. Who was the real yandere here? "You're 5 minutes late again," Willow said, coldly, sitting on the bed, her gaze sharp. "Jacob, our company closes at 6. Even with traffic, it takes only 20 minutes to get home. You've been late 3 days in a row. Are you seeing another woman?" Her red lips curved into a dangerous smile. "Don't tell me I have a new roommate moving in." My heart raced. She leaned forward, her long legs on either side of me, sitting atop me and looking down, her eyes glinting with amusement. "Did you forget what I said yesterday? 1 more minute late, and there's a penalty." She looped the silver chain around my foot. "Maybe this chain suits you better than me," I said, in horror, trying to explain. But she covered my mouth, leaving me no choice but to scream silently in my heart. Who was the real yandere here? 2 months ago, she had been this untouchable, elegant woman, yet here I was, committing the most criminal act of my life, kidnapping my boss. My crush on Willow had started 3 years ago, when she was my senior at school. After graduation, I swallowed my pride and begged every way I could to join her company through a referral. At first, I was content just being near her, never expecting her to return my feelings. But the more I watched her, the more I yearned. The day I planned to confess, I accidentally caught her in an intimate moment with another man, holding a large bouquet of roses, no less. Furious and frustrated, a twisted idea took root. I would tie her up and take her home. Using the excuse of feeling unwell, I lured her upstairs for a drink, got her drunk on beer. Willow, surprisingly, couldn't handle alcohol at all. And when she passed out, I tied her to my bed with a thin silver chain I had bought. I faced a dilemma. I wanted to act on my desire, but she was unconscious, and there was no point in fantasizing alone. I waited for her to wake. An hour later, she stirred, frowning at the chain around her foot. "Jacob, are you detaining me unlawfully?" asked the boss. Cold sweat replaced my earlier excitement as I forced out a warning. "For the rest of your life, don't think about leaving or escaping. This chain, even an elephant couldn't get free." Her gaze was strange, so I admitted the truth. "You like me?" "Yes, I've liked you for 3 years. I didn't mind you not reciprocating, but you're with another man. I could never allow that. Your thoughts should be about me. Your body should belong to me." Willow replied coldly, "Impossible. I advise you to let me go. There's no chance I'll surrender." I tried a few more bold lines before fleeing the bedroom flustered. Immediately I regretted it. This was illegal detention, a crime. And Willow was far from defenseless. Rumor had it she was a black belt, trained in Taekwondo, and studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I seen her take down someone who disturbed her. The chain wasn't titanium. It was a cheap dog chain. A strong tug from her and it would snap. Could she beat me when she broke free? Still, I couldn't resist her. Frustrated, I gritted my teeth, determined to make the best of it. During the first month, Willow was defiant. Every time I entered the bedroom, she shot me a deathly gaze, deterring any attempt to touch her. I snuck into her room at night a few times, but the moment I touched her lightly, she'd open her eyes. In the moonlight, she looked like an awakened vampire. I dared not try again. But she didn't attempt to leave either. It seemed she truly believed my lies, and the chain, like a twig tying an elephant, was enough to hold her. Luckily, it was long enough for her to use the ensuite bathroom. Realizing I couldn't force her heart, I tried to win her over with love. I recounted the history of my crush, confessed daily, but she turned away each time, disgusted. By the end of the month, I despaired. Forced love could never work. Perhaps I should return her and turn myself in. Realistically, someone like Willow would never fall for someone like me. She had always been dazzling, while I was just a dull backdrop. I remembered when we first met. Back in the literary club, I'd planned a piano and violin duet, but my partner's jealous boyfriend threatened to cancel. Helpless, Willow, then student council president, picked up the violin and said, "I'll accompany you." That performance was perfect, the applause overwhelming. For her, it was insignificant. For me, it was the start of obsession. Later, she started her own business. I joined her company, but she remained distant. Even after binding her and bringing her home, she refused to submit. One night, I visited her bedroom one last time. She wasn't asleep. When I approached the bed, she grabbed my wrist. Her hoarse voice whispered, "Jacob, are you sick?" There was a twinge of disappointment in her eyes. I stuttered, unable to reply. She rubbed her head, sighed, and said, "You want to sleep with me that badly?" I nodded. If I didn't, why would I have tied you? I thought. Willow stared at me a long moment. Then, like a high-born lady forced into compliance, she sighed. "Fine, you can sleep here tonight, but remember, we only sleep, nothing more." Happiness washed over me. I nodded repeatedly. From that night on, I shared a bed with Willow. My dreams turned rosy, though she woke every morning looking uncomfortable. Slowly, she became restless, yet began to manage aspects of my life, including my work hours. The company continued to function despite her absence. Due to manpower shortages, a batch of interns were hired. One, Vanessa, was a college student, 168 centimeters tall, with a prominent nose, long lashes, and a sweet demeanor. She called me bro, diligently asking questions even after work. I admit I'm weak when it comes to beauty. Though Willow was my heart, I noticed Vanessa. One day, I returned home half an hour late. Willow's face was darker than the night. When I served her dinner, she plopped into my lap, burying her head in my shoulder. My spirit soared, thinking she had softened. But then she sniffed the air. "Why do you smell of perfume?" She had detected the faint scent from teaching Vanessa to use the company printer earlier. Was Willow's sense of smell superhuman? I couldn't explain. She sneered. "Every day you tell me you love me, but before 3 months are up, you're already tired and chasing another woman, right? Once you get what you want, you no longer cherish it. Jacob, I see you for what you are now." I scrambled to explain. No. The intern just needed help with the printer, that's all." Her expression darkened further. She pulled a phone from under the pillow. "What's her name? I'll have HR fire her." I widened my eyes. "Wait, where did you get that phone? Didn't I confiscate it?" Willow froze, then tossed the phone aside and pushed me onto the bed. The flickering light danced across her collarbones, shadowed hollows captivated me. She sat atop me, a chilling smile on her lips, and untied the silver chain from her ankle, using it to bind my hands to the bedpost. "You came home half an hour late today," she said indifferently. "I'm going to punish you." From that night, our relationship settled into something unclear. She never spoke of it, and I never asked, too afraid of her answer. Pursuing her had become a habit, yet too much love made me cautious. The next evening, as I packed to leave after work, Rose, our team leader, leaned at my desk. I frowned. Rose used to ignore me, always haughty, but after learning my family had paid off our local house, she set her sights on me. She came from the countryside and dreamed of buying a home with her salary, a dream that wasn't realistic. Rose had started harassing me at work, and I politely declined her advances every time, out of respect for her being my superior. But she was like a piece of gum, stubborn and impossible to shake off. "Jacob, a new Japanese restaurant opened in the east of the city, a perfect opportunity to spend time with your leader. How about treating me to dinner tonight?" I could no longer hide my irritation. I'm sorry, but I'm busy tonight. Busy? Got a girlfriend? She pressed. I paused, then nodded. Yes. But Rose wasn't done. Who are you fooling? I've never seen her. Are you nervous about having dinner with me? Don't be. I'm easy to get along with. Fed up, I tried to leave. Excuse me, I need to go. Seeing I wasn't listening, Rose snapped, What's with the arrogance, Jacob? You just bought a house, right? Let me tell you, I could buy one anytime. The place you got is in the suburbs. Harbor area? That's where I'd buy. I wouldn't even look at your place. Ignoring her, I headed for the elevator, but she grabbed my arm, ready for a fight. Suddenly, a slim, fair hand appeared and wrenched her wrist. Vanessa's voice was cool and teasing. So green with envy because someone bought a house, you could always sell yourself. She glanced her up and down, smirking. Though you did, wouldn't the buyer have to pay you? Rose's lips trembled in anger, but she couldn't break free and eventually left pale and defeated. I turned to Vanessa. Thank you. Her usual malice and indifference vanished. No problem, Jacob. If arguing with women makes you uncomfortable, let me handle it. I'll give you a lift home. It's raining outside. I hesitated, then nodded. Don't worry about your car. It's old, I said as I buckled in. Vanessa was driving an aged Honda, but she looked effortlessly composed, the kind of presence that made her wealth undeniable. The watch on her wrist alone could buy 10 cars. My colleagues often guessed she came from a wealthy family, but wanted to experience life firsthand. Jacob, you're going home early. Are you really seeing your girlfriend? She asked, glancing at me. She's not really my girlfriend, I admitted, struggling to describe our relationship with Willow. She's a friend. Vanessa laughed softly. That's good. I thought I had no chance. I was well aware of her feelings. She had been clinging to me since joining as a trainee, constantly finding excuses to be around me. But my heart belonged to Willow. No matter how pretty Vanessa was, I could only appreciate her from a distance. Skylark does not allow office relationships. Besides, there's a 3-year age gap. Save your energy for someone younger. Don't waste it on me. Vanessa only smiled, saying nothing. When we arrived at my apartment, she leaned in close, a familiar fragrance mingling with another scent I couldn't identify. The seatbelt is tangled, she murmured, too close. I dared not move. A few moments later, she had untangled it. Jacob, aren't you going to invite me upstairs for tea? Her eyes shone with anticipation. I flushed, embarrassed. Not today. Maybe next time. I hurried inside, hoping to get home early, only to be 5 minutes late. Willow was already there, glaring down at me. My brain raced. Why are you shouting at me? Do you know what happened today? I was harassed. What kind of people are you recruiting? Anyone can slip in. Willow frowned. Who harassed you? Rose from marketing. She found out I bought a house and insisted on dinner. She wouldn't let it go. Willow got off the bed, picked up her phone, and made a call. Her calm, authoritative voice sent chills down my spine. Is there a person named Rose in marketing? Have her pack and leave tomorrow. Inform our partner companies. If they hire her, we'll terminate cooperation. She hung up, turned to me, and said softly, Why didn't you tell me about this before? I mumbled, What does it matter to us? Willow fell silent, her face pale. I suddenly remembered Vanessa's question from earlier. I lowered my gaze. Willow, what exactly are we? What do you really think? We'd played this strange game for months, intimate countless times, yet never once had she clarified our relationship. Perhaps she was just bored, amusing herself with me. Or maybe she didn't care at all. My throat went bitter as I tossed the silver chain she had removed onto the bed. You don't have to answer now, I said. If we feel the same, I hope to see you at home tomorrow after work. If not, you can leave. I left awkwardly, my heart pounding. Just looking at her made me nervous. There were surely other men pursuing her, far better than me. Could she ever like someone like me? That night, the house was silent, except for the faint rattle of the silver chain. I couldn't sleep. The next day, I dragged myself through a particularly busy workday, making endless calls to clients. Exhausted, I finally headed home. The rain was pouring, but I felt uneasy about delaying any longer. I decided to go home, hoping for the best. When I arrived, the living room was silent, almost painfully so. I rushed to the bedroom, empty. Only a dim silver chain lay on the bed. The quilt was neatly folded, sheets perfectly smooth, as if no one had ever slept there. I stood alone, heart aching. Why did it hurt so much? Even without a wound, it felt shattered inside. A voice whispered in my mind, "You should consider yourself lucky to have slept beside her. What more could you ask for?" I picked up the silver chain. Cold, lifeless. Willow never came back. Not to the house, not to the office. Her phone was unreachable. I lay alone in the bed where she had slept for 3 months. By dawn, I'd blocked all her contact. I tried to convince myself it was over, but I couldn't forget those nights. The warmth, the intimacy, it had all been a lie. Willow never liked me, not even a little. I left work in a torrential summer downpour, wet and miserable, and passed a school where a young couple ran through the rain together, close and laughing. So romantic. For one person, it was just cruel. I couldn't even distinguish rain from my tears. Just then, a car horn honked behind me. A black Mercedes-Benz G-Class broke through the rain. Vanessa, wearing a tank top and shorts, shielded her head and rushed down. "Jacob, get in!" She handed me a dry hoodie, which I recognized from a boutique, an LV checkered piece worth nearly 2 months of my salary. I looked at her dumbfounded. "Do you know how much this costs?" Vanessa shrugged. "I don't. I grabbed it last week because it was cold." I bit back a laugh at her wealth. "Who bullied you?" "No one," she said. "I just had a breakup. Well, technically, a confession that was rejected." After a pause, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small blue velvet box. Inside was a rose gold tie clip studded with diamonds. "I saw this the other day and thought it would suit you." I was shocked. "No, this is too expensive. I can't accept it." "Consider it a gift for all your help these past days. Don't refuse. I'm resigning tomorrow to go back to school." I returned it gratefully. "I appreciate it, but you don't have to give me anything. Will you come back later?" She smiled faintly. "After I graduate, I need to go home. Probably won't come back to Skylark, but I'll still come visit you to hang out in the future." As we got downstairs, she escorted me to the hallway. Just as I was about to leave, she called me back, gently pinning the tie clip to my clothes. Vanessa carefully adjusted my tie. We were so close, I could see every eyelash of hers. For a moment, my heart skipped a beat. Outside, the rain poured relentlessly, but in this small space, it was just the two of us. Her amber-eyed eyes, warm and luminous, met mine. "Jacob, she began, but her words were cut off by a sharp voice. "What are you two doing?" I turned sharply to see Willow standing in the rain, umbrella in hand. She wore a perfectly tailored black suit skirt, her gold-rimmed glasses glinting. A mixture of mockery and anger flashed across her face. "No wonder you haven't been answering my calls, ignoring my messages. So you have a new love interest." Her thin lips curled into a smile, one tinged with contempt. "Jacob, you really are something. You say you like me. Do you say that to everyone?" I clenched my fists. "Willow, are you crazy? You're the one who left first, and now you're blaming me. Do you expect me to follow you like a lapdog just because you don't like me?" Willow's frown deepened. "Yes, I left, but my father was hospitalized in the U.S. I called, but you didn't answer, didn't reply to my messages. Isn't it because you were focused on her?" She pointed at Vanessa. I froze. There had been a strange number that had called me several times that day. My personal information had leaked, so I assumed it was another scam and ignored it. But now I quickly checked my phone. In the spam folder was a series of messages from that number. "Jacob, my father had a car accident in the U.S. I need to go there for a while. I've thought about what you said.
I'm not playing with you, but I don't want to send it as a message. I want to say it in person when I return. Wait for me.
I stood there, stunned, clutching my phone. Did you change your number? I finally managed to ask. That number was deactivated. That's my secondary number, she explained calmly. I didn't see it. It went straight to spam, I stammered, flustered. Willow looked at me, expression cold. Do you know what I went through these past 2 weeks? I wanted to contact you, but I found I'd been deleted and blocked. I sent messages, but you never replied. I flew back on the earliest flight, hoping it was just a misunderstanding, but then I saw you with her. Turns out there was no misunderstanding. You'd just moved on. She glanced at Vanessa, a sneer in her voice. I was speechless. How could I explain? There was no ambiguity. Willow's words were clear. She didn't even look at me a second longer before turning and walking to her car. The black Rolls-Royce drove off into the rain. Vanessa looked down at me. Is she the one you confessed to and got rejected? I nodded gloomily and took the tie clip from my tie, handing it back to her. Take it back. I really can't accept it. But thank you. She paused, a faint, bittersweet smile at the corner of her lips. That's pretty heartless. Fine, I'll take it back this time, but don't refuse me next time. I felt hollow as I walked upstairs. Alone in my room, I stared at Willow's message over and over. She liked me. She actually liked me, and I had pushed her away. My heart wavered when I saw Vanessa, thinking maybe anyone could fill the void if Willow didn't want me. But the truth was, it had always been Willow. The next day, Willow returned to work. I wanted to see her, but was terrified at the same time. When we occasionally crossed paths, she walked past me without a glance, as if I were nothing. I spent days agonizing, unsure how to apologize or even start a conversation. Then a colleague nudged me. Jacob, did you know our CEO is getting married soon? What? I asked, stunned. He handed him his phone. A tweet announced it. Willow, rich and beautiful, engaged to the third son of the Blue Ridge family. The photos showed a perfect couple, perfectly matched. Even I had to admit it. My colleague rambled on, but I wasn't listening. I stood abruptly and headed toward Willow's office. Just as I reached the door, a man exited holding Willow's hand. They smiled at each other. I'll come for you tomorrow. Don't forget to eat well. Willow's eyes were soft, gentle, the first time I'd seen such warmth from her outside our private moments. She looked at me, eyes devoid of the coldness I feared. Just an insignificant person, she said softly, brushing past me with the man at her arm. I froze, feeling the blood drain from my body. Insignificant? That's what I was? The next day, I submitted my resignation. Everyone tried to convince me to stay, but I couldn't. The reason I had been here, Willow, was no longer mine. On my last day, I ran into her at the elevator. She looked composed in her professional suit, showing no trace of the woman who had once been tied to my silver chain. Are you leaving? She asked, emotionless. I nodded. She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. I didn't bother guessing what she meant. I couldn't cling to her anymore. I offered my final dignity. I wish you a happy marriage. She didn't respond. The elevator arrived and she left, but the look in her eyes burned into me. The engagement news spread quickly, making headlines. Both were stunning, a picture-perfect match. The wedding date was set for June. I kept myself busy, sending out resumes, avoiding memories of Willow. The bedroom she had slept in for 3 months became a forbidden space. I threw away the sheets and blankets we had shared, trying to erase the past. Vanessa continued to reach out, inviting me to coffee shops, dessert spots, and casual outings. At first, I refused, insisting I wasn't ready to date, but her persistence and lightheartedness were infectious. I slowly began to relax, enjoying her company without thinking of Willow. One day, Vanessa suggested a beach trip. Walking barefoot in the sand, feeding seagulls, feeling the salty breeze, I finally felt a little lighter. Jacob, Vanessa asked, tilting her head, what kind of woman do you like? I thought for a moment. Someone who looks serious in a suit but is playful underneath, someone I can have great conversations with, and ideally wears gold-rimmed glasses. My mind immediately conjured her image. As we watched a young couple on the beach, laughing and drawing hearts in the sand, a pang of realization hit me. Today was Willow's engagement day. She would exchange vows with another man. My chest tightened. "I'm sorry," I told Vanessa suddenly. "I have something urgent. I need to go." She looked at me, conflicted. "Are you going to see Willow?" I nodded. She finally smiled, resigned. "It's hard to get a cab from here to the church. I'll give you a ride." Grateful, I got in the car, my mind racing with anxiety. Vanessa drove me to the church entrance. I rushed inside, running faster than I ever had in my life. The church was quiet, almost empty. Willow was there, bathed in rosy light streaming through the windows. She smiled at me, relieved. "My fiancé is here. Let's start," she told the priest. I froze. "Wait, aren't you getting engaged to the Blue Ridge son?" Willow took my hand. "He's a business partner. He doesn't want an arranged marriage. He agreed to act as my fiancé so I could invest in his company and escape my family's control." I blinked. "You tricked me?" She chuckled softly. "Jacob, I was waiting for you. Even after you resigned, you didn't clear things up with me. Would you have come to find me otherwise?" I laughed in equal parts anger and relief. "What if I hadn't come today?" Willow paused, then smiled. "Then I would have found another way." She handed me a finely adorned diamond ring. "Consider this a loan. You'll buy one for me later." Her voice softened. "Jacob, you still owe me an apology, and I owe you a confession. I like you. I noticed you a long time ago, but I was scared of relationships because of my father. He cheated on my mother, and her depression led to her death. I was afraid I'd become someone I hate, like him. But now I know I'll never betray you. I'll always treat you well. Will you marry me?" My eyes stung as I shakily put the ring on her finger. "Yes, I do." 2 months later, we married. Willow insisted on moving into my small apartment rather than her hillside villa. Shortly after, she appeared with the silver chain still wrapped around her wrist. "I think you still owe me 5 hours, she teased, a suggestive glint in her eye. "Wait, why bring up ancient history?" I panicked. Willow pushed me down onto the bed. "If you say another word, I'll add more time."